going on? Yeah, there's a particular spot in the Bible. It's either Kings or in Chronicles, or it might even be detailed in both those books. Cause they're kind of like, in a sense, they're almost like the gospel. How these different books are explaining the same situation. It's the same thing as Jasher. Jasher's like it's a combination of Genesis and Exodus and other time frames. It's not like the Bible isn't always linear. It jumps around and it repeats things, or it goes back around like those movies where it shows you the beginning, then it shows you the middle towards the end, and it goes back towards the beginning, or it shows you the end, then the middle at the end. The Bible's like that. It goes woo, 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 woo. All these things mirror each other and ducktail and go in and out of each other, reconfirm, establish deeper revelations of the same subject matter. I mean, it's the same thing. It's all about mixing religions. That's what whoring truly means, and adultery and fornication. Because all of these things come from the practice of this mixing idolatry. I'll go back to this strange fertility cult. You know what I'm saying? Which goes back to that astrotheology thing that they like to emphasize on. That they say the whole Bible's astrotheology, when the whole Bible is basically is a fight between true understanding and astrotheology. You know what I'm saying? But basically, there's a okay. I'll explain as best I can with the time that I have. In one of these books, there's this king, and I think it's after Solomon. It's after David. There's kingdoms. There's multiple kingdoms. So there's two kings actually, and then local kings in a way too. There's all these. It's just, the more things happen, there's disunity. Things get separated and spread farther and farther apart. But this dude, he's going on through his life. They're having their rituals. They're looking to the east. They're pouring out drinks for the goddess of heaven. They're weeping for Tammuz. There's obelisks everywhere on every corner. There's groves everywhere and high places to go and, look at entrails and, worship the sun and the moon and the stars and nature and all this glorious splendor. Then, this king, he's living life as usual, like, everything's good. He's going to church, praising and worshiping and dancing and giving money, buying jets for people, basically. Yeah, not directly, but, I'm just trying to tie it into what it would be like now. This is what happened then. This is actual in there. I can't remember. I'll show you later what exactly where it's at. But somebody one day, this king's chilling, and they're like, King, we found a secret chamber, and we discovered a book of Moses in it. And the king's like, oh, wow, let me see this book of Moses. And he reads this book of Moses, and then he cries out and tears his clothes off because he read this book, and he goes, everything we are doing is what this is telling us not to do. So this means at that point in time, these people were ignorant of everything that was right and wrong. And they thought everything wrong was normal. They thought this was their way. And the dude finds the book of Moses and reads it, and intellectually honest, spiritually honest. And he desired to do right. You know what I'm saying? And he ripped his clothes off because he was so broken by the fact that he was lied to. This is the king now. And he immediately has the people tear down all the altars, bust all the obelisks, cut down all the trees. You know what I'm saying? Smash the groves. Get the high places out of the high places. And he went on in a reformation, and they get rid of the golden calves, get rid of your graven images. But of course, probably the people who were practicing this were angry because they lost their power. Because you're the witch doctor, you're the guy who knows the spirits. You know what I'm saying? And you get to, people tithe to you so you can divinate to them. And they look at you as important because you want to keep the supernatural to yourself. So, it's profitable for you. And there's more, there's Balaam again. There's reward for error. You know what I'm saying? By being deceptive, so it gives you an advantage over others. So this guy basically, smashes all these things down, dude, and big reformation. And God's like, yeah, this is good, but like if it wasn't the next guy or the guy after him, basically they got rid of the Book of Moses again, hid it, and then reinstituted the same stuff. And this is identical to the world in which we live in today. It is identical. That's one of the reasons, I'm struggling so hard with life in general. It's the same thing what that guy was feeling when he ripped his clothes, because it was just like, oh my gosh, everything I thought is just shattered. You know what I'm saying? And nothing's right. I can't find nothing right. I mean, well, it's like, you can't say there ain't nothing right, because the fact that that guy had the opportunity to find that book and rip his clothes, it showed you that there was still hope there, that a person, he wasn't so far gone that he didn't just burn the Book of Moses so he can keep doing it. It's not what he said. Instead, he had to suck it up and try to do something. You know what I'm saying? About it. You know what I'm saying? This was put in the Bible for a reason, as a warning sign, as a ghost of the past, man, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Echoes of the past. Better. I don't like to say ghost, because that's a tricky terminology there, ghost. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just like I was telling you about. Just like I was telling you about Indians, man. Peace treaties. Peace treaties meant concentration camp treaty. It meant tyranny treaty. It meant genocide treaty. You know what I'm saying? Basically. So, and the Indian policy, Indian boarding school, is the model of all the stuff that is going on to us right now. It's like our kids are they're almost in Indian school right now. I mean, just look up really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when they had to civilize the Indians, okay? If you look into that, and then be intellectually honest about it, and then look at reservations. Take a look, relook at it, relook at all those subjects there. Even relook what I was talking about, the king of Israel who found the Book of Moses in the hidden chamber. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, all these things. Even I look at my culture's history, and they're warning signs all in there. They're echoes of the past. I mean, actually, that's basically a bird. They say God sent a bird and let out a message, a cry, a far-sounding cry. And it drew, our people into this area of Michigan. And it's like they said God said this is, our land. Or at least not our land, but we had the right to live here and be stewards of the land, basically. Because we didn't believe we owned it. It just, God gave us the right to be here. It was still his land. You know what I'm saying? In a way, that's why, hey, it's beyond us, man. It's like a lot of people had to die, man, to leave this reminder to us now, this far-reaching sounding cry of the past. It's like at Ezekiel, the Valley of the Bones. Okay, that's these things are still their blood, their innocent blood, cries out from the past still, but no one is hearing it. I mean, I'm always like, it's like a buzzing, you know what I'm saying, of residual evil. It says in one of the books in the Bible that when you commit evil, at the high places, they sacrifice children. And they said, spilling of innocent blood defileth the land. It makes the force not right. Like, literally. You can do evil deeds and it'll make that land cursed. It used to say only when murderers abound, it curses the land. And only way to make the land good again is by the blood of the murderer being spilled. That's why God, God's wine of wrath. The more these murderers just run amok, they're bringing it down on themselves. It's because God's got to get rid of them somehow to renew the land. It's been so defiled and polluted by sin. It's not people that are polluting the land. It's the sin of people. If you taught people to be conscientious of sin they would not pollute so much. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't take so much. We'd all get along. We'd share. We'd look out for one another. We'd encourage one another. But that's not what they want you to do. They want you to eat each other, literally. They want the children to eat the old and the old to eat the young. That's called Willie lynching. You know what I'm saying? That's what all this idolatry does. Is makes Willie lynches. It makes sacrificing children, sacrificing people, cannibalism, anything goes when you practice these idolatries. That's why it's so evil. That's why God was so against it. It's not, if it's just a play, if it's just a remember it's activity and you're not actually sacrificing people and killing babies and doing evil shit and having evil conspiracies, then why, I mean, that's the reason why God said don't do it, is because that's what happens when you do it. Evil conspiracies are born, man. And then when people's minds become continual evil from all day, every day, that's when they're they're past the point of no return. Once we're all that way, I know we're not all that way. I mean, there's some people that are half the time, and sometimes they're good. Those people, you can trust them to an extent, but you got to accept the fact that this matrix is still up in them, and they'll and turn into Mr. Smith or whatever. Yeah, is that what his name was? Agent Smith. But yeah, no, I can't say the whole world's totally corrupt yet, but it's getting real close, man. Really close. It's like Noah, man. There's like this dude. I also had this like Methuselah. When he died, 7 days later, the rain started to happen. So it's like I was like, oh man, there's a lock. There's a time lock. Certain people are actually like locks. Someone passed away and immediately something kicked into going, and it's weird. I'm just deeper revelations by the day. It's like, yeah, the Bible's just I can confirm for you, but you'd have to take my word for it that it indeed is the living word. It is alive. I mean, it is more and more alive by the day, by the moment, by the understanding. It's like little by little, line upon line, precept upon precept, and then boom, it all comes to light, dude. That what's really going on, and they have truly went way out of their way to conceal their plans, and they hid things backwards and turned things up down and put darkness for light and bitter for sweet. And I mean, if you don't believe me, go to any graveyard, find an obelisk, look on top of every church you see, and see how many steeples look like an obelisk. And then you come back and you tell me that we're not living in the same time as that king that found the book of Moses in the hidden chamber and rent his clothing. So just ponder these things while we yet have time to ponder